within us, because I think it's something we forget that we are the residents of the Holy Spirit. It says in First Corinthians 3:16, "Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells within you?" That is so exciting when we really grasp a hold of this. And the level of our revelation on it is the level of the operation that we will walk in it. So that's why it's asking, do you not know? Do you not understand that you are a temple of the Spirit of God? God's Spirit actually resides in us. And I think we can get going through life and just things happening and just accepting stuff that goes on around us as natural, or our lot in life, or just what we have to deal with, forgetting that we actually house the power of God inside of us. It also says that the Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells inside of you, and it will quicken your mortal body. And I think too many times we go through life and we forget who is in us. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And we have to remind ourselves when we're going through situations or circumstances or just everyday life, we have to remind ourselves of who is resident inside of us. That the actual surpassing power of God is within us. And we need to speak it out. We need to declare it. Our words are so powerful. What we speak is so powerful. We have to declare right out loud that God's Spirit is resident inside of me. Declare out loud, greater is he that is in me. Declare out loud, the same Spirit that raised, come on now. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells inside of you. Now, how many of us Christians walk around as if that Spirit is resident inside of us with that kind of confidence, knowing that Spirit is inside of every single one of us? But if we don't have a revelation of this, then we don't operate in it. We don't walk in it. We don't work the works of God's power. We don't get to see God's power in our lives if we don't have revelation of it. So we need to really understand and believe the power that is inside of us. It says it over and over. I looked up scriptures that were about Jesus within, or God's Spirit within us, or Christ within us. And there's 75 verses that talk about God's Spirit within us. And so I just got so excited. This was a few days ago. I did this study on it. I got so excited to be reminded who is in me and who's working and what power is in me. I don't have just enough to eke by. No, the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is in me. That's surpassing power. That's more than enough. Not just, oh, well, I have God with me, so I'm gonna make it through this. No, I have God inside of me. I am going to make it through and surpassing on the other side. Better and better, greater and greater is what God has for us. But we have got to remember who is inside of us, the power that is resident inside of us with anything that comes along. Now you might say, oh, we just need to be realistic. We need to be this is real life we're talking about. These are real scenarios. Absolutely. For your real scenario, that thing that's up in front of you that you've kind of just thrown in the towel and been like, well, I guess this is just what I have to deal with. No, for that situation, God is resident inside of you. God's power is inside of you, his surpassing power. I love using that term for God's power, surpassing. and it comes from his word. And we know with his word, it does not return void, and it accomplishes what it is sent to do. So when we talk about the surpassing power, it puts it in perspective for us. It's not just going to be okay on the other side. It's going to be better than before. So get excited. And I know sometimes in the midst of going through, we can get discouraged and we can get frustrated and we can feel like, this just isn't going to work out in my favor. But God's power is surpassing. It is working all the time. He doesn't go on vacation. He's not checked out. He's resident inside of you through yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are with me. So when you are facing situations and circumstances, declare over it, no, I have the surpassing power of God inside of me. I might not be able to see it. I might not be able to figure it out. So many times we can't figure out, and too many times he does it in a way that is completely different than what we expected or what we wanted or we thought we would see. But I know every time it works out for our good. The word says everything works out for good to those who love him. And how many of you love him? We love him. So listen, it's your guarantee. It's your promise. It's that surpassing power that is resident inside of you, that everything, the scariest things, the big things, the tiny little things that you think God doesn't even see and recognize, has to work out for your good. So take that stand when you come across something or you have something that's just you're facing that seems like a brick wall. No, we need to declare the surpassing power that's within us, and that God will do, he will work everything out for our good. And it's even better than just our good. It's if it's not enough that he's going to work it out for our good, then he tells us he will do abundantly above all we can ask, think, or imagine. So I get super excited now when I'm facing something and I don't know how it's going to work out for my good. I can't see it for the life of me, how it's going to work out for my good. But the thing is, I know who's inside of me. I know the power that is resident inside of me. I know that it will work out for my good. It will be abundantly above all that I can ask, think, or imagine. That needs to be our expectation. That needs to be the level of our revelation, because we can't if you don't believe it, if you don't know it, if you've been distracted or discouraged, you can't operate in that kind of faith. But the word of God says that it's no longer I that lives, but Christ that lives in me. Christ, the all-powerful God, the one that created the universe with his mere words. That God is inside of you, working, surpassing power, working inside of you. We need to get a revelation of this. We need to start declaring it. Listen, we are sons and daughters of the King of Kings, of the all-powerful. He has no rival. There's not even a competition. There's not even a battle. There's nothing that can stand against him. We need a revelation of this for us, that it's inside of every single one of us. It's not just for, that person because they're so special, or, that person because no. If you've accepted Jesus into your life, the Spirit of Christ lives inside of you, that power. And we need to start expecting that it's going to work out for our good. God needs to be glorified through his children. We can't go around moping through life. We can't go around discouraged. We are the light of the world. We house the power of God. Pastor Cody, my son, was saying, and I forget who it was. John G. Lake was saying one of the biggest crimes he sees in Christianity is that we keep the power of God within us. We just keep it in there. We don't let it out. We need to start declaring over our situations, over our circumstances. You know what? I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I do know it has to turn out for my good. It has to turn out better than it started. And you know what? When the thief comes in and touches your life and steals, the word of God tells us it has to be restored 7 times. Amen. So let's start declaring this revelation we have of the power of God, the authority of God that we have, every single one of us in us. We walk in that authority where we can declare, no way, Satan, you think you can touch my life? You have to restore 7 times what you touch. You know, I actually am convinced that he's so dumb. Yeah. He is so dumb, because the only thing it does is it makes us better and stronger. Every time he tries to attack my life, I'm just laughing now. I am literally laughing, because on the other side of this, I'm better. I'm better off. I'm stronger than I was before. So you're just stupid for throwing attacks at my life. So you can stop anytime, because all you're doing is making me stronger, and my life keeps getting better and better, and not just like eking better, like abundantly above all we can ask, think, or even imagine. I am praying today that you get a revelation of the power that is within you, power to shift and change your circumstances, power to create what you want to walk in. You have that power within you, because Christ is within you. This word, Jesus is the Word. The Word is God. The Word was God. Every word in this is resident inside of you. Get excited about the power that's inside of you. Get excited about the victory that is inside of you. Don't for a moment take on this mentality that God has to work hard to bless you, that there's some kind of, that the enemy has any kind of power over your life. He doesn't have any power over your life except for what you give him. And we need a revelation of the power of God that is within every single one of us. The power of wisdom is in us. If you don't know what to do in a situation, don't just sit back. Oh, I don't know what to do. I just don't know. Yes, you do know what to do, because he says, ask me and I will give you the wisdom that you need. He always does. He's not slack concerning his promises. Mm-hmm. He's not taking a vacation from you. He didn't need a break from you. Isn't it wonderful? God doesn't need a break from us. People might need a break from us, but God doesn't need a break from us. It's so comforting to know that. But he's not slack concerning these promises. Every promise, every word in this book is what is resident inside of your spirit. All of the authority that God walked in is resident inside of you. You have that same authority, miracle working power inside of you. But you know what? Life beats us up sometimes, and we just forget. We forget what's inside. We get caught up in the reality of it being right in our face. It's so frustrating. I hate when I get caught up in the reality. Even for a second, I don't want to fall for that I'm not powerful, that I'm not victorious, and that I won't overcome. I never want to get caught up in that. But sometimes life, it comes in like a flood, rushing and from every direction. And it seems like, you know, everything is just so bad and it's so far gone. But you need to keep in mind the revelation of what is inside of you. Every word in this book is resident inside of you. And it says it does not return void. It has to accomplish what it is sent to do. So let's get moving mountains. Let's get seeing miracles, signs, and wonders. Let's get God being glorified in his children. We should be walking in such a way that people look at our lives and they say, this is impossible. This is not even possible. I always want to live in the realm of the impossible. It is so exciting. It is so much fun. I love it when people come to me and say, oh, well, this is just the way it goes. This is just the way it is. I like to tell them, that's not my story. That's not my story. Yeah. This is my story. Everything in this is my story. I don't care how it feels. I don't care how long it lasts. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what I can try to figure out or rationalize in my mind. Just stop even trying to do that. All you're doing is robbing your own faith. You're robbing your own victory when you're trying to rationalize. Isn't it funny? We try to figure out how things are supposed to go as if we're God. I do it. It's so funny. I laugh at myself because I'm like, well, this has to happen here, and this has to happen for this to happen here. Oh, really? Oh, really, Rhonda? That's what has to happen? God's just up there. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this, and it's going to be way better than what you can think or imagine. He's so awesome, and his Spirit is resident inside of every single one of us. Watch and see God be surpassing in your life. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't throw in the towel. Don't get discouraged, and don't get focused on the problem. Don't get focused on the things that are in front of us. Let's focus on what is resident inside of us. Let's focus on getting a greater revelation of that and seeing abundantly above all you can ask. Think. I am declaring right now over that situation that you've just been like, it's just never going to change. It's never going to change. I've tried. See, like we think we're God. I've tried, and it's just not going to change. No, I declare over that situation that you will come out better on the other side, that God's power will be surpassing anybody's imagination, that he will do abundantly above. You're not going to just eke through. No way. The power, the resurrection power of God is inside of you. You're not eking through. You are getting abundantly above all you can ask, think, or imagine. Please don't try to rationalize with worldly wisdom and reasoning and logic the things of God. The supernatural, it's called supernatural. And we try to just process it in a natural way. And that's why we're discouraged and we're constantly coming up empty, is because we're trying to make it work in our natural. And we aren't natural. We are supernatural. We are supernatural, and we need to have a revelation of that. We need to walk in that. So whatever it is you're facing, I'm declaring right now, better for you. It's going to be better for you than when you started. It's going to be better than what you thought. It's going to be abundantly above and beyond all you've asked. Man, sometimes I haven't even asked. And this word says that before we even ask, the answer is already on the way. We might not see it. We might not know how it's working, but we can be guaranteed that God's power, his surpassing power, is working on our behalf. He goes before us. He can get in people's hearts and minds. He makes the path that's crooked straight in front of us. That's our guarantee. We need to have a fresh revelation of what is resident inside of us, and Christ is in you. Every portion of this is inside of you, working, performing, accomplishing everything that it was sent to do. So don't quit, don't give up, don't get discouraged. The only requirement that we have is that we believe. It's the only requirement. We have to speak and believe what we're saying. So I just pray that you get this revelation that causes you to believe like you've never believed before. And it gets so exciting. I promise you, every day of my life, I'm in actual awe of God. I mean, like jaw-dropping awe of God, because I've put him in this place of his surpassing power is working in my life. No matter what comes, it will turn out better for me in the end, and it will turn out better for you too. Only believe. Only believe. I love you, and I can't wait to hear awesome testimony of surpassing power, unimaginable. People are going to be shaking their heads at what's going on in your life, because you're not natural. You are supernatural with the power of Christ within you. I love you.